process in place. I, as an individual that is just about to start up, manage this structure at the level the business is taking off, and can I also bring the structure later and adjust? Especially for those that are married, some of us in this part of the world, we believe that our partner should be able to support us and run the business with us, not brothers. So what's your own idea about this?
Okay, so maybe I should demystify the word structure. I know when we mention structure, to many of us, we start building different blocks in our head. Structure can be as simple as having a process from when the goods arrive in your warehouse to when it goes out, to when it is bought.
Like a flow system.
Simple. Let me give you a very practical example I witnessed. I work with Guinness. We sell both alcoholic and non-alcoholic products, right? So we work with distributors. We call them trade partners. There is one of the distributors I have that I know of. The structure he has is simply the checks and balances he puts to his stock. What is it? He doesn't use any computing system. He doesn't use any auditor, even though he audits his business once in a while. All he does is, for every of his stocks, he stamps them. He stamps. So he has, the stamp is his stamp. Nobody holds the stamp. It's him. He's an Igbo man. Your smile is an Igbo man, so I don't need to go far. So he has a stamp. Every carton has a unique stamp, right? And of course, the stamp comes in both duplicate and the stamp. So he has a duplicate with him. So he knows how many stamps that he has used. He has the duplicate of the stamp in case you want to change it, right? That is first control. Second control is at the point of payment. Whenever you make any payments, you don't bring cash to his warehouse. You pay into the bank and send a teller to him. That's structure. So what he does for him is he can travel to US, for example. When he's doing his stock taking with his accountant, it's very simple. He has all the teller, he has all the proof of payment sent to his WhatsApp, right? So he knows what came in that day. He has all the stamps. So all he's checking is how many stamps have gone out. Check with the duplicate. That's structure.
Okay.
So you don't need to employ one.
Okay.
I mean, Igbo men will be very good in this kind of thing I'm talking about here. It's just structure. Now, to the second question around family. As a rule of thumb, and again, it's something that has worked for me and people who mentor me, because I have mentors also when it comes to business. I would advise that in the early stage of your business, right? If you'd employ your wife in your business, there should be checks and balances that also cover your partner. Whether it is the woman that owns the business and then the man is supporting, or it's the man that owns the business and the woman is supporting, whichever way. Because what I've seen from experience is absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when it's in terms of business and your partner has absolute power, more often than not, the business takes the spiral very fast. So what I mean by that is this. If you are the MD CEO, your wife is the COO, there should be a third person, a third independent person who your wife has dotted line reporting to. That's also structure. So let me give you an example. So I have a friend who has a bakery. He is the one that is the MD. The wife supports in, of course, buying flour, all those other things. But no check goes to the bank without the accountant/auditor's signature. So what he does is, because he is busy, there is no way that the wife can sit down one day and say she wants to move funds without somebody counter-checking that is for something. So his signature, his wife, and then that person. If you leave absolute power to a family member, it doesn't have to be your wife. It will always corrupt absolutely. It may not start so, but it will go to that trajectory in the long run.
Wow, I think that's very valid. For those of us that have business plan with our partners, it's good to have a control. Control is the major engine in business. Because some of us, we said she's my wife. You can wake up in the day and your wife, maybe you have a disagreement and she enter your company account and walk away. I'm sure you know that as a man.
Let me say one.
Okay.
There was a man I counseled, and in fact, he was on his way to commit suicide when he came into the building. I mean, he was married, and his wife took everything plus his certificate. His certificate from school, and left.
Wow.
His wife.
Wow.
So the man has nothing. Even certificate doesn't even have. So if he wants to get a job, he has to present, and that's even tough. So he has to go back to the school. To go to the school, there's no more money. So structure is very important.
Very key. Thank you very much, Pastor. Thank you very much. I have seen a situation whereby, there's when you are opening an account for your business, especially current accounts, they will ask you how many signatories. And I've seen partners saying that, oh, me and my wife can be signatory. And they will say, oh, either to sign. They will ask another question, either to sign or both to sign. So, at this point, can I ask you, because some of us look at convenience, especially for those of us that are working, and your partner support to run. You say, oh, let it be either to sign so that she can easily access it. What are the implications?
Okay.
And which is best?
So that question has two sides. So there's the side of convenience. I use the word convenience because in Africa, statistics have shown that the husband tends to die first before the wife. You might argue, but it's statistics, yes. Yeah? So it means that no matter the age difference between you and your wife, the likelihood that you would journey first before her is very high. So convenience is in the sense that maybe if there's illness, if there's unavailability, then there's no break. There's continuity in the business. So that's convenience. On the flip side, also, as you've said, many cases where a woman has practically ruined the man, to do the business. So this is what I advise. There are so many people trying to give opinions on this, so it's really a hot topic.
It's intentional.
So what I would say is what I've said before. You must have a third leg of control. So it is not even an either or. Again, as the MD, absolute power can also corrupt you absolutely. Right? So there needs to be a third person. And that is why most people that have business these days, they constitute like a board, like a small board. It's not necessarily a board of directors. It's just some maybe 4 or 5 people who are like trusts to that company, right? And why they're doing it is because the man knows that there's a tendency that I'm myopic in my judgments. I might decide we want to expand as a business, but it's premature for us to expand. But because I'm the MD, I'm the CEO, I have the yam, I have the knife, I say, no, we must expand. Let's go and expand. And then we go and expand, and everything comes crashing down. So what they do is, they have like a small group of people. Whenever there's any executive decision to be made in the company, the 3 or 4 of them deliberate. Then he, as the MD, now has an extra voting right, meaning that when there's a tie, then he now has the last key. So what I would advise all business, especially people that have small businesses, it is not either or. There must still be a third person. It doesn't mean that you have ceded power to that person, no. It just means that person is a check, is a control, is a third eye to your business. And that is where structure comes in.
Thank you. You've said it well. If you notice, most organizations, especially when they want to pay salary or make payments, it's not only one signatory. And they've made it so simple that you don't need to write. I don't know when last I opened my checkbook. Also set up your bank platform in a way that if you approve it with your token, the second person must also approve. You have a treasury guy, a finance guy. I know him very way back from Friesland. He handles treasury. So I know how it works. So you can have that control in place whereby as you're approving on your phone or your platform on the system, your second or third person also have the access to his own token and also do the approval. So you can challenge each other. So control is very key. Control, having structure, making up your business to survive is very key. Thank you very much, and thank you all. So I would like to have a question on this table, and I'll go to Barrister Moses. I know a lot of us will be asking ourselves, we have cryptocurrency, we have online business. Are all this covered with will in estate planning? I know a lot of people that have invested in Bitcoin, crypto, and the rest of it. Is this protected? Digital currencies?
Let me say, this is something that is just evolving. It should be protected. It should be protected because over time, things are phasing out. The old things are phasing out. Let me say things like stocks and other things they are phasing out. So it's the new phase that is coming out. So it should be protected.
It should be.
Yes.
Let me add something. So I know that so we've had a session in the office where this question has been asked. So in law now, crypto is a legal currency now. I know that the Nigeria government had some issues with Binance and some of the other guys, but I think it has been resolved now. So as long as it's within the legal framework of that country, then it's a legal tender. And once it's a legal tender, then it's covered also under the will.
Just nature. Before people believe in wet ink, but now I hear that courts are accepting it now. Okay, so I would like to ask Dr. Adeniji. Thank you very much, Barrister Moses. Dr. Ilori, the last question I would like to ask you is, what does it mean to be healthy as a man in today's society?
Okay, thank you for that question. To be healthy as a man in today's society, particularly in Nigeria, one, you have to think of your mental health, like what Dr. Olumide has said. You have to make sure that you think of your mental health, take it with all your heart. That's one. And also, you check your blood pressure regularly. Because in Nigeria of nowadays, when you go to work, come back, when you spend like 3 hours in traffic, and when you go to work and your boss is now lambasting you up and down, and you now get home, and at home too, you need to do this and this with your wife. So, so you need to check your blood pressure regularly with your physician. And you need to take rest. You need to take rest. I told a guy this evening that in Nigeria we worked 7 days in 1 week, like that, non-stop. And there is no particular day that you take off, or for maybe 5 days for vacation, off days, like that. So we need to rest. Take at least, if you work on shift, at least take 2 days off in a week.
Exactly.
And if you, for a year, you can take a month off for vacation. Maybe you go to a place whereby you are not involved with working. Not that you'll be working on laptop again, but at least you take it to vacation, you rest totally. Maybe outside Nigeria or a very cool place in Nigeria. That's it. And likewise, family issues need to sort that out too. So for you to be healthy, all right.
Sorry, let me say something. Yeah? I think we need to remember that God that created us, God also rested.
Exactly.
We always forget. There's this thing about African culture where the moment you are not working, you feel you are missing out. If actually men, women, and I thank God that it's men in the house, the moment you are idle, you feel something is passing you by. The moment time stops and your hand is not doing something, your head is not thinking, your leg is not working, you feel something is amiss with you. No. God rested. Bible says, after God had created heaven and earth, he saw that all was good and he rested. So if God can rest, then who am I? That's the question. And that is why when I go on leave, I sleep. And please guys, rest involves sleep, cutting yourself off. Many of us are resting, but our brains are working. We're not resting. We're just lying on the bed. Rest means you cut off, disconnect. Very important.
Very key. I know a lot of people that are scared of going on leave, even though when they're entitled to it. Because they tell you that it comes with a lot of expenses.
You go to vacation, you rest totally. You forget about that work. Then after you rested, then you cannot come back and resume.
Exactly. So, what I just want to say is, when is your leave time? My office, what we do, we call it work-life balance. We chase people to book their leave. Book it ahead, so that when they call, you know that, oh, you are forfeiting if you are not going, and you cannot claim it again. Why are we doing this? Because we need to have this work-life balance, and at the same time, ensure that you have a very stable mental health status. I know why I said people are scared of going on leave. Some are scared because they feel that they want to remain the alpha and omega in their office. Some of them, because they are corrupt, they are not willing to leave that seat for 1 hour. They want to be there every time, so that daily money, we need to check ourselves. You might make all the whole money and die. We are talking about will today, estate planning. You need to learn how to, delegate tasks in your office so that you can have rest of mind. And another thing, people believe when they are in the house, and it's true, so our women in the house, when you are not around, they manage the little you give to them. But when they see you at home, daddy want to buy salt, want to buy Maggi, want to buy this. And we are always scared of that thing. And that is why you don't stay at home to rest. You can take vacation. You can take your time out. So leave is very important. You need that rest and break before you break down. Thank you very much. So that's what I want to say about that.
Sorry, sir. And I need to mention this about depression. I think Dr. Olumide will also comment on this because that's his specialty. Depression is now ravaging because of the economic situation and the way the country is going now. So if you have something that, because the next person sitting to you, you may not know that probably is going through depression. So you need to talk out. You need to say something. Because if you are not talking, if you are not saying your mind, I may not know what's in your mind. So next day you just hear that this also person, this. So, and again, we need to be our brother's keeper. Immediately you notice that this guy doesn't look normal.
Exactly.
He's not behaving as he used to be. Or probably you have been noticing something for maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month like that. Then you should try and call some people to also see what you are seeing. Because next time you will hear that so thing happen. So let's be our brother's keeper.
Thank you very much. Brother keeper is very key. I've seen it happening whereby you talk to someone that you are not cheerful. Are you fine? That question alone can help the person. And we have some of us that have HMO in our organization. These days, there's what we call EAP, Employee Assistance Program. Please, explore it. It's free. You are not paying for it. Whereby you have one-on-one therapy session with someone you can open up to. Not necessarily your line manager, but a specialist like maybe Dr. Olumide. They are the back end. They can listen to you. It's free on your HMO. Most HMO operate it free of charge. Please, Leadway also have HMO. You can also benefit from it. Ensure you benefit from all these things. Comprehensive health check. You have it free in your medical package, but you'll be scared because you don't want them to tell you what you don't want to hear. When will you now listen to it? The earlier the better you detect them and you start taking care of them. Please, that's what I would like to say. So that's to Dr. Olumide. What are the long-term effects of untreated mental health condition on individual and society?
Thank you very much. Anything that is not treated is going to get complicated. Either physical matters or mental health condition is going to get complicated. And the longer it stays in the body, the more difficult it is to treat. So that if the person has lived like say 5-10 years with that mental health condition, unattended to, the person might end up living with that condition for the rest of his or her life. But if it is quickly addressed, I tell you, there is remedy. There are medications for any of those mental health conditions that if it is quickly addressed, applied, and you comply with what the experts are going to tell you, that person is going to live a high quality of life.
Yeah.
Okay? And of course, maybe he won't it's just high quality of life. He can walk normally, he can do everything that every other person does, and can live as long as the person wanted or wants.
Okay.
But if it is not addressed and it spreads, imagine that, you see, we are looking the person, if it is not attended to in house 1, it's not attended to in house 2, it's not attended to in house 3, what is going to happen to the finance and the economy of those houses? Let's say is the man, or even if it is the woman. So the workforce of that house has reduced, and of course the workhouse or the economy of that community, of that nation, has reduced. So it's going to lead to loss of workforce, loss of manpower, because people with mental health condition cannot function. He cannot function as a husband, he cannot function at home, he cannot function in the marketplace. Certainly if he's a director, a manager, or anybody, he won't be able to function. And of course, he cannot function in the church of God. So we are really we are losing manpower and workforces in all the phases of our society.
Thank you very much. It has a whole lot of implication and impact. Thank you very much, Dr. Olumide. All right, so the last question I'll have tonight is to our pastor. But pastor, you're not going to answer the question now. You are going to answer it tomorrow. Yes, we're here tomorrow, 8 a.m. We are just spending just 2 hours, 8 to 10, and we are done with our service. Promise, you have to be here tomorrow. All right, so the question is, how can we engage in effective and respectful dialogue? And that's the question for you, Pastor Paul, for tomorrow. At this point, I would like to call on Brother Sam to take it up. I would like to say a very big thank you to all the panelists. Thank you so much. I believe we've enjoyed all the discussion we've had today. Let's give them a round of a stand-up ovation while we invite Sam to take us on, and we'll wrap it up. Thank you.
All right. So another round of applause for this to you. God bless you. So let's just have a picture. So in this picture section, just sit down. Please just sit down. You can follow us on Instagram at TFOLC Kingsdome. You can watch this section on YouTube at TFOLC Kingsdome on YouTube. And you can join us for tomorrow's service. Is a Thanksgiving service for all men, and everybody's invited to church, obviously. Come tomorrow and celebrate with us, dance as we give thanks to the Father, your Father. Okay? So tomorrow, yes, we're wearing all white. It's an all white service. Come in your white. Anyhow you want to wear your white, come in your white. Thank you very much. So before I go, I'll leave you in the hands of Pastor Paul Briggs. That's the convener of the program. For the convener of the program. Let our pastor